technology industry, especially the gaming sector at the moment, is moving pretty fast. We had the PS4 announcement back in March, we had the Xbox One announcement only just this week, and now it's time for the PC side of things to really get rolling again. So we're looking at Nvidia's new series of 700 graphics cards. And they're starting off with the GTX 780, which is going to be their flagship device for the 700 series. Obviously you're going to be looking at the 770 and the 760 coming along in due course, and no doubt a 790 will pop up along the way as well. But the reason I wanted to talk to you guys about this is a lot of people are modifying their PCs at the moment, especially to make sure that they're going to be able to play Battlefield 4 on it. Because I know a lot of you guys, my subscribers, play on PC, and a lot of you have been asking me, will I be able to run Battlefield 4 on this setup? Can I run it with this CPU and motherboard? Well, here's your answer. With the 780 you're definitely going to be able to run Battlefield 4, but are you willing to pay the price for it? So I do have some benchmarks for Battlefield 3 to discuss, but I thought I'd just do a little bit of background on the 780 to begin with. So the new GTX 780 is modelled off the GTX Titan. Now if you guys don't actually know what that is, that's a single fastest GPU on the market currently available from Nvidia. Now when you're modelling from a card like that, you expect some good specifications, and that's exactly what's inside this card. We're looking at 2,304 shader units or CUDA cores, and that's 50% more than's currently in the 680 graphics card. It's also boasting 1GB more of memory inside this 780. We're now looking at 3GB of GDDR5, but that's currently half of what we find in the Titan, which is sitting at 6GB. Base GPU clock is 863MHz and then has a sort of optimal boost up to 900MHz. Now that's just the reference card, however there is some tweaking that can be done with some software that's included on the card. Nvidia have included GPU Boost 2, which is actually included with the Titan, and with that you can actually optimise what you're using based on temperature, and it just visualises an easy way to control your graphics card. With that GPU boost enabled, you can actually hit 1100 to 1150 MHz clock rates on that GPU, which is staggeringly fast. Those values are pretty high considering the current 680s will run at around 900 to 950 MHz, so that's a pretty big jump. Something else that Nvidia are touting is that the card is extremely quiet in comparison to other cards on the market. Under load, this will only hit 40 decibels, which is around the same as what the Titan will hit, but considerably less than what AMD cards will hit at. If you look at the Radeon 6990, that thing actually runs at 47 decibels under load, which is considerably louder than 40. It doesn't sound like a huge difference, but in reality it does make quite a big difference. Any card will of course get louder the more strain you put it under, so depending on what resolution you're playing at, what game you're playing at, and the demands of that game, you're going to see different performance and different levels of sound. So now we've looked at the background of the actual card, we're going to have a look at some of the benchmarks. Now just before we do, I'm going to mention the system that they were actually benchmarking on, just so that you can have a reference depending on whether you actually buy this card, or as a reference to what it's actually going to perform like on your system. They've gone full whack on the processor with this one. They've got an i7-3960 Extreme. That's a 6-core CPU from Intel running at 4.6 GHz. That in itself is sitting on top of an MSI Big Bang X-Power motherboard with 8GB of GDDR3 memory running at 1600 MHz. So as I said, this is an all-out computer. This would cost around £1,500 to £2,000 to put together. So we're making sure that this card right here is not going to face any bottlenecking, any sort of limitation at all. Now for the purposes of this experiment, they've put in the graphs as well. They have put in a Radeon HD 7970, which is pretty much the highest card you can get from AMD right now, and they've put the Titan in just as a reference. So the graph you're currently looking at shows 3 different resolutions for those 3 different graphics cards, and you can quite clearly see the 780 sits quite comfortably between the AMD card and the Titan. So something I would obviously point out here now is the price. Now considering that this card is sitting in the middle of 2 other cards, you would expect it to cost a middle price, and that's exactly what you're going to get. A Titan in the UK will cost you around £1,000, and an AMD 7970 will cost you around £350. So it makes sense that Nvidia have priced this card, obviously the reference model, at around £550. And that's a pretty good price to be paying right now for the quality you're actually going to get from the card. They haven't put the standard 1080p resolution in here, but the closest one to that is 1920 by 1200, and you can see there that the game will run comfortably at 80 frames per second. Something I will just point out, the level they're playing on is called Operation Swordbreaker, which is actually from the campaign of the game, and they're running on full ultra settings here. That's 4x MSAA, 16x AF, and HBAL enabled as well. Now I will just state again, this card will perform differently on different systems. If you've got a lower CPU like an i5 quad core, then this will perform worse than what it would do on an extreme i7 6-core processor. So all in all, this card fits right in the middle where we expect it to actually land. But my question is to you guys, are you going to be picking up one of these cards, considering it's a brand new card and this is only the reference model as well? If you're familiar with PC parts, you will know there are reference cards and then aftermarket cards, which is where sort of third parties take the card and its model and then make it better themselves. They put different cooling units on it, they'll overclock the processor and all those different kind of things to make the card different to what it would be from the reference model. So are you going to be picking up one of these cards, guys? If you're improving your computer, do you think that £550 for a reference card is too much? Do you think that you're going to be buying a last generation card because now those will drop in price? Or are you going to go completely the other way and go for a Titan? You need to let me know in the comments. And finally, the moment that you've all been waiting for, I finally picked a winner for my Rokat Kone Pure gaming mouse. And the winner is Agent 2.0. So congratulations to you, you've just won yourself a £65 gaming mouse from Rokat. I've direct messaged you on YouTube and I am waiting for a response. If I don't get one within 48 hours, I will of course pick a new winner and contact them via direct message. But that is the end of this video, guys. Don't forget to give it a like if you did enjoy it. My name is Westy and I'll catch you guys in the next one.